The certainty of the 5.6 trillion budget surplus. Who do you believe? The choices are Senator Hillary Clinton, January 2008. The next choice is Senator Kent Conrad, February 2008. The next is Deputy Director of the CBO, Mr. Barry Anderson. The next is Senator Kent Conrad, January 2001. The next is then Minority Leader Senator Tom Daschle, March 2001. And the last is Representative Jack Spratt, February 2008. Based on the quotes of these five people, you can decide who do you believe when it comes to the certainty of the 5.6 trillion 10-year budget surplus projection. Here is the scoreboard that we'll mark after each quote. We have the person's name down the left, and we have the years 2008 and 2001. And we'll mark the scoreboard based on what is said or what is implied from each individual's comment. Let's begin.
We've gone from a projected $5.6 trillion surplus when George Bush became president to a $9 trillion debt.
He inherited. You can't inherit what doesn't exist.
If you look at what this president inherited and what he's leaving behind, it is a sad legacy. He inherited surpluses, forecasted surpluses of $5.6 trillion. He inherited a circumstance in which we are on track to pay down all of the publicly held debt.
He inherited. You can't inherit what doesn't exist.
Based on CBO's previous forecasting differences, the difference between what actually occurred and what was forecast, we could see in the year 2006 conceivably a deficit based on the differences we've seen in past forecasts from what actually occurred, or we could see in that year as much as $1 trillion surplus. Is that correct?
Both of those possibilities are possible, yes.
2006 deficits or surpluses are possible.
Correct?
Both of those possibilities are possible, yes.
I just want to urge people, that is the uncertainty in this forecast.
Wide range is the uncertainty.
I think the surplus projections are going to be dramatically different as a result of what you've seen from the stock market in the last couple of weeks. There is no doubt that if we have lost that much money in retirement accounts, we've lost that much money in the market itself, we're going to lose a similar amount of money in the projected surpluses. There's no doubt about that. We have said from the beginning, these surpluses are no better than weather reports. We're in some pretty bad weather right now.
No better than weather reports.
Years and they saw nothing but surpluses coming up, nothing but roses. And so they estimated the cumulative surpluses would total over 10 years $5.6 trillion. We were wary of that. I was wary of it. Others of us involved in the process were. And we warned the president not to bet the budget. After all we had done to put it into balance over a 15-year period of time, not to bet the budget on a blue sky forecast.
Wary and blue sky forecast. Here's the final scoreboard on the question, was the 2001 CBO 5.6 trillion projected surplus certain? In 2008, we had Senator Hillary Clinton and Senator Kent Conrad both saying yes, and Representative Jack Spratt saying no. And in 2001, we have Senator Kent Conrad, Mr. Barry Anderson, and Senator Tom Daschle all saying no. 5 people and 6 answers leads us to Kent Conrad, who has 2 positions. And the 2 positions address the 11 pages of uncertainties contained in the 2001 report. So the awards for who to believe are as follows. Because his organization, the CBO, wrote the document, the honorable mention for most likely to know the certainty of the 5.6 trillion surplus budget projection goes to Deputy Director of the CBO, Mr. Barry Anderson, January 2001, for his acknowledgement of the wide range of possibilities. Mr. Anderson acknowledged that deficits were possible without any policy changes. But the person you have to believe, because he is covered on both sides of the issue, is Senator Kent Conrad, Democrat from North Dakota, because in 2008 his position was it was certain, and in 2001 the 5.6 trillion budget surplus was uncertain. When it comes to having two positions on one report, you cannot go wrong with Senator Kent Conrad, Democrat from North Dakota. Let's watch Senator Kent Conrad, Democrat from North Dakota, bounce around with his positions.
He inherited surpluses, forecasted surpluses of $5.6 trillion. He inherited a circumstance in which we are on track to pay down all of the publicly held debt.
I just want to urge people, that is the uncertainty in this forecast.
He inherited surpluses. He inherited a circumstance in which we are on track.
That is the uncertainty in this forecast. That is the uncertainty in this forecast.